Obi, the mother of the day, who her hugs heals the wounds.
I will hug you. I will hug you, we'll cry together, and I'll see fire in you.
Staffs were leaving left, right, center. In 2-3 months, I had like 9 resignations.
It's just an open, empowering organizations that you will always miss. And that's why we say that once an ActionAider, always an ActionAider.
ActionAid Nigeria was established in 1999 and registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission in 2007. It is a national, non-governmental, non-for-profit, non-partisan organization and an affiliate member of the ActionAid International Federation with footprints in over 70 countries across the world. When anyone joins ActionAid, one thing is certain: growth.
ActionAid started on the 2nd of October 1999. I joined ActionAid on the 2nd of October 1999 as messenger and driver. With their support of personal development, I enrolled into Abuja University to study BSc Sociology. And from 1999 to 2003, I graduated as BSc second class lower, and I was moved to logistics assistant. Then from there I got admission to study my master's in the same institution. I was promoted to logistics officer, and in 2010 I was promoted to a logistics advisor.
I joined ActionAid in 2004, so this is my 21st year in ActionAid Nigeria. I have learned global leadership from here. When I was just at the level of head of programs here, I was seconded to do a head of programs in Lesotho, and then from there I also moved to interim country representative for ActionAid. That's what that global leadership. So that opportunities to grow and learn. When I just joined ActionAid, I only had my postgraduate diploma. Currently, I'm doing my PhD in project management, and I took on another 5 years study to study psychology. My journey in ActionAid is a fulfilled one, and I look forward to my retirement soon.
ActionAid Nigeria builds a culture where learning never stops, and every staff member is encouraged to reach higher. Part of the organization's success has been shaped by visionary country directors whose leadership and values guided ActionAid's journey.
I work with all the country directors, starting from ActionAid founder Charles Abani. His lifestyle was to carry everybody along. You can imagine that ActionAid, the country director Charles Abani, has a fixed budget to take staff out every evening after all the serious business work to distress. Be you a driver, be you a manager, be you anything. So he takes us out. It was like a family.
Under Charles Abani's leadership, ActionAid Nigeria began its evolution.
I was given £500 in cash and a laptop and told, go back to Nigeria and set up Action. Equally important on the logistics side is registering an organization, an international NGO with the government of Nigeria. And you and I know the complexities that involves too. So that involved obviously working with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, with the National Planning Commission to both put together an MOU, get that MOU signed off by the government of Nigeria to enable an international NGO to operate, hire staff, begin to and enable us to get a visa for Chris Kinyanjui, who joined us as my deputy, to be able to come into the country to establish the organization. And then put in place, I guess, all the both administrative, financial, HR, policy processes. And then from there, opening bank accounts, and then beginning to set up all of those administrative processes, the legal processes linked with the registration, identifying an office, starting all the socialization with donor organizations, finalizing the discussions that we already were having with the EU before ActionAid even came into the country, to then set up the contracts for the very first projects of ActionAid, which was an education project. Our own identity was a partnership of building local institutions, of working with frontline, I wouldn't call them activists, but a number of them were, but development practitioners, and a young man then, very young, who I'd been working with in VSO, Goodluck Omo. And Goodluck probably still works for ActionAid. So he's local employee number one, and his services stretch to, if not more, 25 years now for ActionAid. So I'm very proud of him too.
After the foundation was laid, new leaders built on that vision.
Then come Otive, which is Otivism, who brought in neoliberal economic and introduced this concept of cooperative gathering, where staff has to put their resources together to have their personal development and have properties.
2006, when these day newspapers nominated ActionAid Nigeria as one of the NGOs of the year, given the level of work that we have done. Because during my tenure, we not only expanded the work, but we deepened it to the community level. So we expanded what at that time we call Partnership Against Poverty, the PAPS, to more states of the Federation. We increased our advocacy to the national level. So I was on national television almost on a daily basis. We increased the policy propositions that we were making. So the visibility of ActionAid, that's why today, the standard we set today, if you don't ask anybody, you don't say I'm from ActionAid and they tell you which organization is that. Once an ActionAider, always an ActionAider. In many ways. First, in ActionAid, when you get to ActionAid, the first thing is comprehensive induction. In fact, some of us call it indoctrination. So that you'll be aligned with the philosophy and values of ActionAid. Values of humility, values of mutual respect, values of conviction, values of solidarity with the poor.
Come Oseni Abdul, who is a guru in governance. You see him every time in the radio news talking about ActionAid, talking about the vision, talking about what we do.
I created a structure led by 4 different directorates. The Directorate of Finance, the Directorate of People and Culture, or the HROD is called. We had for the first time, we established the Directorate for Business Development. We wanted to do something very Nigerian specific. And we said, why can't we run a system that people adopt a community? And we call it community sponsorship. And then whatever resources we generate, we can invest in healthcare, we can invest in education, we can invest in basic facilities that helped to fight poverty in such locations. We're the first set of organizations in this country ever to recruit female drivers.
Community sponsorship is a voluntary individual giving platform where people make monthly or annual donations to support ActionAid's work of lifting impoverished and excluded communities out of poverty.
A dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run fún àwọn ActionAid pé nínú agbègbè mẹ́jọ tí wọ́n ti ṣiṣẹ́, a dúpẹ́ pé Ọlọ́run tẹ̀dó àwáyé jẹ́ ọ̀kan nínú wọn. Tí wọ́n béèrè lọ́wọ́ àwọn obìnrin pé kí la fẹ́ tà sọ fún wọn pé a fẹ́ ẹkùn níbi tá a ti fẹ́ máa fọ epo. A dúpẹ́ pé wọ́n ṣe ẹkùn yẹn fún wa, a dẹ̀ ń lò ó. Wọ́n ṣe oríṣiríṣi nǹkan fún wa, torí pé wọ́n tún gbẹ́ kànga fún wa. Wọ́n tún kọ́ wa bá ti ṣe ń ṣe manure fertilizer lóríṣiríṣi gbogbo nǹkan tó ṣà kọ́ wa. A dúpẹ́ pé a sọ́ọ̀tì lára wọn, a jèrè lára ActionAid ni. So ẹkùn tó ń ṣe fún wa, ibẹ̀ la ti ń fọ epo táwọn obìnrin ti ń ṣiṣẹ́ òòjọ́ wa. Lára àwọn ìdàgbàsókè tá à ń ṣe nínú ìlú àti owó tá à ń rí níbi ẹkùn tẹ́ lọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan yẹn, òun la fi ń ṣe bíi táwọn ń kó jọ papọ̀. Torí pé tá a bá gba epo la máa ń gbà lẹ́kùn yẹn. Tá a bá gba epo, àwa tà á, owó tá a bá rí ń bẹ̀, ó kún tá a fi fún àwọn ìdàgbàsókè tá a rí nínú ìlú.
The situation of water is very, very bad in this community because before there is nothing like pump or borehole. They are using stream, pond, and that time there are many sickness due to bad of water. Some are dying in cholera. So we are suffering from those diseases that time. But since PDA/ActionAid came into our community, things just changed. They came and built a borehole in the school. And that borehole is very, very strong. And since they put that borehole, every other community join us in using that borehole.
Celebrities were also brought in to champion the cause and inspire more Nigerians to give.
ActionAid actually reached out to me last year to come and see the facilities and just to have an idea of what they do. And I went. Funny enough, I was pregnant at the time, but they didn't know that. And it was just news to me. But I said, no, I'm not going to, normally the doctor says, oh, try and relax for 3 months, make sure your baby is solid before you travel. But I said, oh, this is important. This is something for my generations and their generations. And when I came to the office in Abuja, of course, I was restricted to the per diem, the non-fancy hotel and everything. But all those things aside, it was easy to do that because I identify with the poor.
There comes Ojobo, the lawyer, who came with her own style of leadership, move the PAP LROP to the next level.
Under her leadership, the focus shifted from policy engagement to stronger budget advocacy, giving rise to Make Budget Work campaign, which called for transparent and accountable use of public funds.
There are a lot of different implementation challenges that the government could face. I don't want to go into corruption, or I will deviate from budget and begin to just focus on corruption. But that is also one implementation challenge that the budget will face, because once there's corruption, there's misappropriation, and then there's the challenge of not being able to fund the services that will influence the citizens' lives, or even influence the other macroeconomic issues that the government wants to focus.
After the push for accountability and reform, a new era unfolded.
There come Obi, the mother of the day, who her hugs heals the wounds. Even if you are carrying over some level of attitude from home, if she gives you that hug, that is a therapy for as part of our healing process.
Like everybody will say, I give hugs. Love comes from the heart. But when you cross the line, I would have given you a long rope. If you cross the line, you pay.
because that one is not, you can't tolerate it, because I love you, I will hug you. I will hug you, we'll cry together, and I'll say fire you if you cross the line.
Beyond her warmth and discipline, Anna's leadership also stood out for her passion for protecting lives and confronting harmful traditional practices.
The other program that was so unique for me, and all of these things were like coming at the beginning of my leadership, for ActionAid Nigeria, is the infanticide project that is stopping the killing of twins, which is happening at the FCT. And so I was called, and we collaborated with the European Union, because there is, that's in about 69 communities. You have, if you are twins, triplets, quadruplets, if you lost your mom at childbirth, in those communities, they will strap the child onto the mother when the mother is going to be buried, and they bury the child with it. And then children with albinism, and then the Idowus, for example, that's the children that are born after the twins, all of them too. With the twins, they are evil. And so we had to start advocacy programs. There's a pastor that was able to start rescuing these children.
When the children come in, the first major challenge we have is their health. And that's what takes a lot of money from us, because when we bring in a child and the child is not looking for, like one that came in that same 2004, by the time the child came, he had a lot of septic rashes, he was smelling. Why? Because he was placed on the dead body of the mother for 2 days. So that made her to have septic rashes. So when you come like that, when you bring in a child like that the first time, the first major challenge is their health.
In rescuing them, so we had, when we started the project, I think we had about over 130 children. But right now, the current disease, we have about 220 children that their parents don't want them because they consider them evil and all of that. But at the time we joined the program, we worked with the European Union, because the space had become so small. But at the end of the day, we built them a structure that could take more, of the children.
From challenging harmful traditions to pushing for electoral reforms, ActionAid's journey now continues under a new generation of leadership.
Now we have the Agile Country Director, Andrew Mamedu, who have seen that raising resources, raising funds, and taking 5 million people out of poverty with his style of agility, performance, and delivering of programs has come.
As I was taking coming in as country director, the dollar tumbled, the naira tumbled, and the naira to a dollar got to 1,000 naira. Like, wow, more than 100%. Staffs were leaving left, right, center. In 2-3 months, I had like 9 resignations. People were going to other organizations. They were like, what? What is this? Did I just inherit something? It's a sinking ship. I was like, okay, what do we do? And we're able to come up with a mechanism that we call pegging. If you ask any staff today, one of the biggest things they know about this particular CD is pegging. So they call me Agile CD. I'm very agile, I'm very active. So I don't waste time. When there are issues to be handled, we handle it. When Trump happened to our sector. Some organizations lost 300, 400 staff. Actually, they did not lose 1 staff. We're able to, so the resilience we had built over the years came to play.
Over the years, each country director left a unique mark. These shaped ActionAid's programs, vision, culture, and people. Together, they have built a space where work feels like purpose and colleagues a family.
From time to time, we conduct salary comparators to make sure that our packages compare favorably with other organizations in our industry. We have a staff development fee that every staff is entitled to. We have a creche for our female staff, and They can bring their babies from the time they resume from maternity leave until the baby turns 18 months. Apart from having a very good maternity leave policy, people are paid 100% for maternity leave in weddings, in funerals, when someone has lost someone or one thing or the other, you find people standing with each other. Even when people have financial challenges, we have a cooperative that supports people in any way, that people may need to be supported. We have very strong policies in terms of sexual harassment, exploitation and abuse, and we have a zero tolerance policy with regards to that. So we have a way of appreciating the staff who have stayed longer. If you have stayed for up to 5 years, there is a gift that you get.
The same compassion that defines ActionAid's workplace flows into its work with communities, especially in its commitment to inclusion and women's rights.
We were reaching more of women who were in the rural community and women who were in urban, poor communities. And a lot of them were not educated. And we felt that we needed to meet their needs. So, in fact, I went around almost all the 6 geopolitical zones, making sure I talked to women to find out what they wanted. Because it's one thing to work for women, it's another thing to actually work for women based on their needs. So having had that robust conversation and, of course, gathering of evidence on what had been done prior to when I took over that position, we decided to produce what we call the peer-to-peer toolkit. I would say it was like a 360 degree of women's lives, everything that had to do with women. When we produced the toolkit, we started training women, we went around the country. Another work that I'm very, very happy that I did with the other team members was the unpaid care work. We started collecting diaries from women. So women wake up in the morning and then they're putting down what they do. And then before their own eyes, we analyze it and say, look, you've spent 13 hours doing unpaid care work. When it came to childcare, when it came to chores, when it came to some of these other things, men were almost literally doing nothing. So we started our advocacy. The Safe City initiative was something that we started 2011. We felt that schools needed to be safe for everyone, for the teachers, for the students, for everybody. And we started this advocacy on Safe City.
Girls in Nigeria have been at a disadvantage around enrollment, retention, completion and transition in schools, right from the cradle really going forward. And this has impacted on the ability of the girl child to contribute to society.
15 years ago, when you walk into the community, this community, Koromiangede, you find out teenagers with pregnancy. Most of them already have one, while still carrying the second one at the age of 13 to 15. These teenagers that were involved, they don't know their rights. So that was why they fall into all those being a victim of teenage unwanted pregnancies. So as a result of this teenage unwanted pregnancy, we've recorded a high amount of school dropouts in the community, most especially the girl child. So these issues triggered the intervention of the ActionAid with their partners to come in to our aid. So we really thank them so much because as at now, we've been able to record a success story in terms of the reduction of teenage unwanted pregnancy.
One of the projects we introduced in Borno State at that time, we call it Back to Home, was to identify 300 children that are unaccompanied. They are on their own. We identified 3 of them in 3 local governments, I think Jega, Kwandiga, and Kaga. So we identified these 300 children and also identified the children, actually there are 600, and we identified 300 homes that already they have children, but they are willing to take in other children as their own. So some homes we gave them 2 children, some we gave them 1. Why this left an impact, on me was that these children were finally able to have a home they can call their own.
We decided to say, okay, we need a specific line budget that speaks about smallholder women farmers so that we can track it. And sometimes if they are sharing input, If they give it to men, we don't get it. We said we want our own. They should give us smallholder women farmers our own separately. And that's also another avenue that we've gotten. And it has really changed from, the story have changed from what we used to have before and now. Like me, as I'm talking, I don't used to own land before. But through this advocacy and my clamping Mountain Kilimanjaro, I now have 2 hectares of land in my name. To me, it's one of the greatest achievements I have achieved.
We had a number of like 80-something plus women in Enugu State across 20 communities for the very first time being members of traditional councils. It had never happened, in the history of those communities. They were highly patriarchal. Only men, could be Igwes. But now some women were coronated as Igwe, ordained as Igwes. And the women even wear red caps. Something that is like a taboo in some communities in Igbo land. Our work contributed to the coming out of the first female SUG president in UNICA in Cross River State.
Beyond women's rights, ActionAid's reach extends to every crisis that threatens human dignity, providing cash, food, and other essentials to help families survive and rebuild their lives.
ActionAid Nigeria's mandate with regards to emergencies go beyond what we call disasters or conflicts. We view emergencies or humanitarian issues to include, of course, disasters like flood, man-made events like conflict, but also we consider disease outbreaks and even economic or socio-political shocks that could impact human life.
Sai godiya za mu yi tsakanin mu da ku. Sai Allah ya ji kan ma'aika. Wannan abin da kuka yi mana Allah ka saka muku. Allah ya bar mu tare da ku. Allah ya ba mu ci gaba.
Aside from humanitarian response, ActionAid also tackles the root causes of inequality, empowering citizens to demand fairness and accountability in governance and taxation.
Most times people see taxation, for example, as an issue that is not something that ordinary people should engage in. But with ActionAid, it was different. ActionAid was able to engage on those issues across different layers with people, government, policymakers, the labor unions, other organizations like ActionAid. So ActionAid was quite instructive with the formation of the tax justice network in Nigeria at that period. I remember when we went to Makurdi to write the strategy of the tax justice network in Nigeria, and for me that was a defining moment.
Subspace sun faɗa mana muhimmancin haraji. Sun ce harajin nan da ake ansa muna ganin ana kawo mana alli sannan kuma wani bi da kujeru. Duk ta hanyar harajin nan ne da ake ansa ake kawo mana.
From pushing for fair taxation to mobilizing citizens on issues of hunger and education, ActionAid continues to empower people to demand a more just and equal society.
The Hunger-Free campaign was also about, it has all the elements of the human rights-based approach, where it's about solidarity, it's about empowerment, it's about campaigning. Apart from the Hunger-Free campaign, the activist side itself emerged originally globally as just a combination of a number of young people who were also just speaking for themselves. But in Nigeria, we took it to a next level. We built it into a movement, number one, and then we also built it into a campaign platform. The campaign on right to food, the campaign on right to education, and there's one Go campaign, which they were also involved in, they came into the mainstream. One Go campaign was about education, in which we also used some football to also campaign. And we had people like the Sultan, the current Sultan of Sokoto, also as one of the champions of the One Go campaign.
We went around Alimosho and we discovered an uncompleted primary school. We wrote a letter to the local government. We were honored. We spoke to the SA on, I think supervisor on education as at then. And within a twinkle of an eye, even without seeing the local government chairman, by September, all the contractors went back to site. We kept monitoring, and today we can see what the progress is all about. Just basically what we felt was not coming from the harmful side, but coming from the good side. Sometimes they keep forgetting these things, but we feel if we do our checks and balances and ask questions, drive social accountability within our environment, things can actually be put in place.
ActionAid works with other NGOs like the Participation Initiative for Behavioral Change in Development, PIPSEED, to strengthen their capacity to reach the most vulnerable. Since 2006, PIPSEED has served as an implementing partner of ActionAid Nigeria's local rights program in Kogi State.
When we got to Kogi, most of the primary schools were under thatched buildings, and they were very empathetic sights to behold. And so ActionAid, through some of the support from the sponsors, was able to work closely with government at the start of the project to help build a couple of primary schools, pardon me. And so we built over 4 primary schools in rural, remote areas that government perhaps does not even know about, but yet they existed. We go to health. Different locations where we've been able to build primary healthcare centers had critical issues of women having to die during childbirth, women not having to have access to immunizations for themselves and for their children. And with simple intervention, ActionAid was able to help support the building of some of these primary healthcare centers, and government also supported by providing staff and other drugs to help keep those centers alive. Some of those centers still exist till today.
I'm happy for this hospital. If this hospital no dey, I can't born like this. Because I born, some of them don't die. But when this hospital come here, I'm very happy for these 3 children that I born for here.
ActionAid's influence also extends to national policy advocacy, working with the Civil Society Action Coalition on Education for All, SACEFA, to push for a stronger education and social development systems.
ActionAid kind of mobilized voice for education development to challenge government on gaps and also elevate the issues around deficiencies in education development to the point that we had a seat at a point in time, at the height of the support. We had a seat in the presidency, more specifically the Presidential Committee on Millennium Development Goals. It cut across development sectors, water, sanitation and all that. But we in SACEFA were the focal representatives for education. And so we took care of civil society education voice within the presidency at the time. And I think without the support of ActionAid, we couldn't have had that kind of credibility to be taken seriously and to kind of shape policies within the presidency.
Across marginalized communities, ActionAid's partnerships are breaking cultural barriers and helping families embrace education and inclusion.
80% of the community there, they move half naked because of their culture and what have you. But as a result of our intervention, they begin to understand, we sensitize them and they came to understand that this is the way to go. So you will see that the children And then also we also sensitize them on the importance of education, which they understand and they key into the idea. And then that was resulted the construction of a block of 3 classrooms. And then with the promise that after the construction, in short, even before the construction, they have shown interest that they want to see their children started the basic education. And then even the adult, they say, okay, they want to also see how they can do some, to have a class for adult literacy. So the life of children, including the community people, entirely changed compared to when we met them on ActionAid started intervention in that community.
Lokacin makarantar tana kazanta ba ta da kyawu, amma yanzu mun samu lokacin muna tawa da buhu mun shimfiɗa ana abin ga muna zauna tuwa mu si ƙura sai yanzu mun samu dama an gara muna makarantar mu ta yi kyau, an samu na kujeri masu kyau.
In the early 2000s, as Nigeria battled the HIV epidemic, ActionAid contributed to the fight against the spread.
In 2005, the Civil Society Consultative Group on HIV and AIDS was formed, CISGAN. ActionAid was, at that time, one of the only, if not the only organization that was into providing participatory approach to community interventions. And so, because of the need for civil society working on HIV to be rooted in community advocacy and participatory issues, the capacity that ActionAid brought in Nigeria at that particular point in time builds the niche, the capacity of civil society that were working or that were going to form the CISGAN at that level.
We would come to a meeting of persons with HIV because we're supporting support group meetings. We would discuss with them, hear their needs, and then after 2 weeks, you come back and you're asking for, where is this person? Where is that person? And they say, oh, the person passed away. And you go home feeling heavy. And I used to dream of them. I used to dream of those that passed away. So that's how emotionally traumatic it was. And also, now working in the women's rights unit, you are addressing gender-based violence. And women and young girls tell you about their stories and their experiences, and then you're experiencing secondary trauma again.
The journey of ActionAid Nigeria has not been without challenges.
Back in 2005, there was the Bellevue air crash. And 3 of ActionAid staff were in that crash and they died. And it was a particularly difficult time for ActionAid as a family, but the partners of ActionAid, including ActionAid International. And it was difficult because there we were just about 5 years old as an organization in Nigeria. And losing 3 key staff, 2 were staff, 1 was partner, but you know how we work with our partners. It was very emotionally challenging.
ActionAid's growth has been powered by trust, earned through accountability and transparency.
Every year, every month is an audit month. Beyond that, the donor, internal audit, international audit, statutory audit, we just finished statutory audit. So all these things, every day is an audit period. So that assurances is what the donor rely upon. The current strategy paper we have is for 10 years, 2024 to 2034. And that is one we are looking at beyond £60 million. In each year. We are equipping ourselves in terms of capacity building, putting relevant structures in place, and then looking at the software, finance software we are using that, and then the issue of digitalization. how do we digitalize to make sure that we are responding to the various stakeholders.
Over the years, technology has transformed the way ActionAid works, helping the organization reach remote communities, manage programs efficiently, and amplify voices that would otherwise go unheard.
ActionAid work in the remote communities, hard to reach communities. We try to bring those communities up by technology to see that they are connected to the other parts of Nigeria, so that their voice can be heard. So amplifying the voice of the of people, hard to reach community, digitally secluded people. How do we amplify their voices and ensure that they can be heard is one of the things technology had to look into. So that brought me into the technology space of using technology to bridge the digital divide in people so that are hard to reach, so that their voices can be amplified, so that the government can actually attend to their main concerns and needs.
At ActionAid Nigeria, every action, resource, and decision is held to the highest standard.
Participatory review and reflection process that allows the communities to sit down and judge ActionAid and say, you said we are going to do this, you said this. This is our feel about you in terms of your programming, about the impact you said you are going to make, and about the staff that are working. And so when those information comes back, we are then able to use it as an organization and reflect on ourselves. So they judge us, they judge the top partners, and ActionAid has been able to sack organizations for 50,000. Believe you me, whatever amount of money we have for an investment in a program, it's written on a board, so you are holding us accountable. ActionAid is that type of organization. You can go and ask any donor. They will tell you that we've worked with. They will tell you, ActionAid is not going to take your $1. We will not. We would rather return your money than get involved in anything that can mess us up. You know why? Because we hold government accountable. If you want to stay in ActionAid, know that you will be transparent. We're not saying that everybody is clean. There may be room for some of those things, but if you are caught, you know that you are on the way out.
ActionAid has earned the trust of donors, paving the way for sustained support.
ActionAid has done tremendously well, but I think that they also need to consolidate on the things that they have done. And again, that comes sometimes as a result of funding challenges. So they start things and they're not able to see them through because the resources to do them are not there. So hopefully with the build grant, they'll be able to shrink and say these are the things that we are really going to be focusing on, and then see them through over a long period of time.
ActionAid is actually doing an extremely good job in leading this project in Nigeria. I think going forward, it will be interesting to continue to strengthen the synergies, to break silos between organizations working on the same issues, to bring all the strengths together so that we can even more progress for women's rights and leadership in Nigeria.
Okay. We are not telling the world enough about what we are doing as an organization. We are not telling them of the services that we are providing and the strategies that we have adopted, the advocacy that we have made, and the results that we have gained from those advocacies and strategies that we have deployed over the years. We need to do a lot more.
From its humble beginnings to becoming a nationwide force for justice, the organization's board reflects this commitment to representation, with members drawn from all 6 geopolitical zones, ensuring gender balance, youth participation, and inclusion of persons with disabilities. At the helm of this leadership is Board Chair Rabi Isma.
We have a new country strategy now, which just was launched last year. So we're looking to do even more. We have a big, hairy, audacious goal of lifting millions out of poverty, helping to lift them out of poverty through various programs over the next 10 years. And we'll be working with partners, because what we want to do is see more and more citizens' action against poverty and injustice. That is the theme of this strategy now. And it still links to all the things that we've had before, because at the start of ActionAid 25 years ago, you know, and about, I think, maybe 21 years ago, we had fighting poverty in the midst of plenty, because that's what we do. Nigeria is a rich country. It's just that the riches are held in the hands of a few. So we're fighting poverty in the midst of plenty. That was 20 years ago. We did a second version of that. Then we went to end poverty, you know, take action, end poverty. And then we went to social justice to end poverty. And then now we're citizens action. And why are we citizens action now? Because we realize that more and more we need to be able to form coalitions. We need to be able to mobilize the citizens through working with various partners.
ActionAid Nigeria's impact does not end at its borders. Its work now informs global development models and inspires partners across the Federation.
We have 759 social movement partners, and we have 605 youth-led organizations that ActionAid works with, and many of them are also in Nigeria. Secondly, ActionAid Nigeria has been instrumental in piloting the agroecological women-led farming models that now shapes how we look at agroecology led by women across the Federation. We've also had innovative approaches to community-led accountability and public finance monitoring that triggered and also cascaded out of Nigeria to other countries. So that's very, very important. Nigeria also runs the largest women's rights program in the Federation, the Women's Voice in Leadership. It's a significant one that was championed by ActionAid Nigeria staff themselves. And so this is very, very crucial, and we are very, very proud of this achievement. ActionAid Nigeria has also been globally recognized. I mentioned earlier, their leadership was spotlighted in the award-winning Human Cost of the Food Crisis film that was recognized with a Gold Award at the Smiley Charity Film Awards in 2025.
As ActionAid marks 25 years of impact, tributes and well wishes continue to pour in.
Excited! I'm excited to be the country director celebrating ActionAid at 25. I look forward to being invited to when ActionAid is doing 50. I look forward to being invited. I look forward to us celebrating that moment. And I look forward for us to have changed our strategy, maybe not poverty eradication, but wealth creation as the future we're looking at. Hopefully Nigeria would have gotten to the point where we have eradicated poverty and we are creating wealth. There are countries that don't have poverty. There are countries that don't have basic poverty. So we are past that stage and we're now creating wealth and redistributing wealth, climate change issue, all those kind of key issues. Those are the things we'll be dealing with. And I look forward to an organization that is stronger in system, strong personality, maintain this culture that ActionAid has had over the years. And like my predecessor and I will always say, that as a country director, you have a mandate to maintain the value, to sustain the value. And I look forward to a stronger board, stronger General Assembly that will support us all through the process, working with the Federation, with the General Assembly, with the General Secretariat of the Federation and all the staff across the Federation to achieve this global idea of eradicating poverty and injustice.
As a former board chair and a former convener of the General Assembly, I wish to congratulate ActionAid Nigeria for the excellent work they are doing, for how they have reached and impacted on people, for working quietly but impactful. I wish them all the best.
I want to use this opportunity to say, ActionAid Nigeria, hooray, happy birthday, happy anniversary. And then on behalf of Motion, we want to say a very big thank you for all that you have been doing for humanity, for all that you have been doing for communities, and for all that you have been doing for movements in Nigeria.
Happy 25th anniversary to ActionAid Nigeria. We wish you more decades to come with increase in salary to all staffs, improved welfare to staff, and more money to ActionAid from the donors. Happy anniversary.